Welcome to K2 Success Academy, and we are going to discuss uh, the topic that is called generative grammar. This topic is going to be very simple but very important in the point of the net perspective, right? So, point of view of net perspective. So, why we are going to discuss this, because this term came in our net examination in 2025 in English literature. That's why we are going to study this. So, before understanding, first we need to define the word, the term, generative grammar. What does it mean by generative grammar? Generative grammar, in the sense, we are going to generate something. Generative grammar, and grammar is a rule of the grammar. For example, any kind of language we are going to discuss, we are going to study, so there are some kind of rules, and based on that rule, the setup of the rules, we create some new words, new sentences. So we generate sentences, right? So based on those certain kind of rules, we are going to generate new words, so new sentences based on those rules. That's why it is called generative grammar. And this term generative came in mathematics first, and after that this term was developed by the Noam Chomsky, and we also discussed Noam Chomsky in linguistic, right? This term also comes under the linguistic. That's why we are going to study this, and this is under the unit 5 in our NEET examination, language and linguistic and pedagogy. So Noam Chomsky, we know that he has given the term generative grammar. So generative grammar, we create new sentences based on, we have certain kinds of words in our mind, but we have to arrange those sentences in a set of rules. And based on set of rules, we arrange, then we create sentences, and the sentences make the sense. If that sentence does not make any sense, then that sentence is not the sentence. So when we create any sentence that makes the sense. So okay, let's talk about the text. The term generative in the linguistics, particularly in Noam Chomsky, generative grammar. So this is the term we need to know, generative grammar. So generative grammar was inspired by mathematics. Okay, mathematics. First, this term came in mathematics, but after, generative grammar is a theory of language developed by Noam Chomsky in 1950s. It is a framework for understanding how humans produce and understand sentences. So, if you are not able to put those words in a proper way, then someone with whom you are talking to cannot understand your sentence, cannot understand your language. So based on those rules, we are going to generate new sentences. Okay, those rules are very certain, very limited, but we can create infinite number of sentences based on these rules. So this is not the rote learning, this is not the memorizing things, this is the set of rules, and we add many things, many words, adjectives, adverbs, and we create infinite numbers of sentences. So our brain have an innate set of rules. Okay, when I read this sentence, then you must have got things in your mind, that is a LED device. So Noam Chomsky also talked about the LED device. That what is the LED device? LED, language acquisition device. Okay, what is the language acquisition device? According to Noam Chomsky, language acquisition device is this is the device for acquiring language. We acquire the language. He particularly talks about the children, how the children learn the language, acquire the language. Okay, there are some kind of differences between language learning and language acquiring. So acquisition is that it is the effortless learning. We are not going to put our effort to learn that language. We just absorb that language. But on the contrary, if we talk about the language learning, then we need some effort, we need some force, we need some energy to learn that language, because that is not our language, and we are going to learn that language. So it needs some kind of effort. But if you talk about the acquisition, that is the LAD, language acquisition device, we are going to absorb. Think about the children who are born in England, and the surrounding is the people who speak only in English. So what the children does, the children absorbs that language, right? And that is effortless learning. So the LAD, language acquisition device, is the device that is in our mind, that is in children's mind, according to this, according to Noam Chomsky, and that device make the children understand and learn the language, acquire the language very easily, because language is very complex. But because of this device, the children are able to learn the language very easily and very quickly, right? So he also talks about the LAD device that is inside the brain of children. So it is the rule of grammar. Our brain have an innate set of rules, and innate set of rules is already fit in our mind, and based on that rules, we just, the children, or we just arrange those words in that rule, and we create sentences. This is the grammar rules that allows us to generate infinite number of, I have already told you that based on finite number of rules, we can create an infinite number of sentences from a finite set of words and rules, right? So this is the power of generative grammar, right? So the core concept is the generative grammar assumes language is a rule-based. I have already told you this is the rule-based things, that not just memorized phrases. We are not going to memorize. We just follow the rules, right? And based on that rules, we create numbers of sentences. These rules let us create and understand new sentences, even once we have never heard before. The sentence we have never heard before, we can also create those sentences. So this is the power of generative grammar. For example, the cat sleeps. The cat sleeps. This is the sentence. The grammar generates the structure like NP, the cat, and VP, the sleeps. What does mean by NP? NP represent here noun phrase, and the VP represents here the word phrase. Okay. Okay, let me elaborate this. What is the sentence? The cat sleeps. The sentence is the cat sleeps. This is the sentence. So if we break down this sentence, then we can break down this sentence into two parts. First is noun phrase, and the second is verb phrase, because this is the verb, sleep is the verb. So we can divide this sentence into two parts, noun phrase and verb phrase. And we can also further divide this. This is the determiner, this is the noun, and this is the main verb. And the main verb is sleep. And because we are talking about the third person singular, that's why we add the as here. So this is also the part of the grammar, the rules of the grammar. So we are adding as here. So what it happens that it becomes it is the determiner. Determiner is that the, and this there is the noun. So the noun is cat, and it becomes the sleeps if we combine this, sleeps. So now we got the actual sentence. The cat sleeps here. So this is kind of tree diagram. According to Noam Chomsky, it is called tree diagram. Tree diagram. Is it looking like tree? Maybe. Okay. So this is about the discussion of generative grammar. So let's talk about the question that this question came in our NET examination. So we have already discussed this generative grammar. This is based on this question. The topic is based on this question, the generative in the sense that generative grammar. So we can match this, the option number D, with first, a term borrowed in the 1960s or 1950s from mathematics into linguistics by Noam Chomsky, as we have studied this. So we can match this with first one. So the correct answer will be here D, first, second. Okay, so this topic was on the based of this question. Okay, so thank you for watching this video. And if you are looking for any coaching center, then do come our coaching center. This coaching center, the name is the Key to Success Academy in DDU Nagar. And if you want to contact, then there will be the contact number in the description box. So thank you very much for watching this video.